Hi, welcome to GetAGonga Auctions. This was a capstone project for devCodeCamp by me, Gary Varnum. As I said, my name is Gary Varnum. I'm from Bradenton, Florida. I've been involved with web development and web design for over 20 years. I'm also an Air Force veteran of 10 years, and I've also had my own business with web design. I decided to take this code camp to increase my skills with the newer technologies, especially the JavaScript frameworks. This project was a 10-day coding sprint that showcased the skills I've acquired during this 14-week web development course at devCodeCamp. Why did I choose an auction app? While I was deciding what type of app I wanted, my sister suggested I create an auction app. She would need such an app to liquidate the discarded items that are in the warehouse where she works as a mail forwarding company that takes orders from around the world and then ships them overseas to their clients. Sometimes those items can't be processed due to customs restrictions, unpaid balances, credit cards that fail, etc. So they sit in the warehouse and take up space, and eventually they have to be liquidated. The company auctions off these items to their employees, and then they donate the proceeds to local charities. Currently, they manage them using a spreadsheet and some printouts and emails that they send to the different employees that are eligible to participate. And it takes a lot of manual data entry, looking up the items, figuring out what to price them at, and that kind of thing. And then managing the bids, figuring out who has the highest bid, who wins the auctions. This will simplify the process, and it'll save many, many man hours for them every month. The auctions are blind auctions, meaning bids are placed in secret. It's not like eBay where they bid and you see how much somebody's bid and you bid more. You basically bid whatever you think you're willing to pay, and then the highest bidder after the auction closes wins the item. The name GetAGonga might sound a little bit strange, but it was a little phrase my mom and two sisters picked up years ago when they would go to garage sales, flea markets, swap meets, etc. And they would look for great deals, and they call them a gonga. They would say they got a gonga if they got a good deal. This auction is a great place to find such gongas, so GetAGonga was born. To create this application, I used the following technologies: Mongo database to hold the data, React.js, Bootstrap 5, HTML5, and CSS3, along with some JavaScript, was used for the front end, the part that the users and the admin use. And then to interact with the database, there was Node.js, Express.js, and a SerpApi from Google search that helped find the items and the data for each item. And now I'll do a demonstration of the web application. So here we are at the homepage for GetAGonga Auctions, where users would either log in if they already have an account, or they would register if they don't have an account. So register, they would enter a name, John Doe, and John at doe.com. And then I'll just use that same for their email, and their password, and then they would register. Once they're registered, it takes them right in to the auctions. This is also where they would come if they already had an account and they just logged in using their username and password. Currently, there's 3 auctions in the pipeline. This one was started on the 1st and is running through the 10th. And here's some items that are up for auction. These items were entered and pulled in by the admin from Google search results, and they chose the result and it populated the data. So far, you can tell there's 2 bids on this item, 2 on this one, 2 on this one, 1 on this one. The starting bid is always 1/3 of what they find as the retail price. So the program, when it pulls the retail price from Google search, it then creates a starting bid and rounds it up to the closest $5. And then that's the starting bid. And then they can place a bid for anything above the starting bid. So if they wanted to buy the stall house and they want to figure out how much they're willing to pay, they would pay a bid they would make. So they wanted to pay $43.27. Place a bid. Now there's 3 bids. The amount they bid most recently stays in place. And then if they decide, well, maybe I need to bid a little bit more than that, they can, increase it here if they want to do by a few cents, or they could just type in, another new, totally new bid. Now there'll be 4 bids in there because all their bids are stored, but the program will figure out which one is the highest bid, and it'll all be tied to the same user. The other auctions, you can see there's only 1 item entered so far. Admin may be in the middle of adding items, and then they could have an item auction scheduled without any items listed yet, and then the admin will be able to go in and put in new items. So this is the user side, and this is what they would see. They can then log out after they've made their bids, and then as an admin, which I'm in as an admin, I would log in. I will also see the user interface side, but the same thing we saw before. But then to administer the site and to manage the items and the auctions, they would go to the admin section. Here they can create an auction, start date and end date. Then they would add the auction. Here they've added 3 auctions, and for each auction, then let's create an auction. Fall special. And we'll have it run from September 15th until October 14th. We add the auction, and there's the fall special. And then if they wanted to add items to that fall special, they could click manage items. You can also return back and see one of the existing auctions. Click on manage items. And that brings you into the listings again for that auction. Here you can see the descriptions, category, retail price, starting bid, high bid, bidder. The winner's name will be here, the total bids, and then if they need to edit the auction information, that they can edit the description, the category, the retail price, and the starting bid. But once bids are made, they can't do any kind of editing for that. They can also delete an item. If they want to send to the winner at the end of the auction, they would click here. This brings up an email from the default email program. And it'll be sent to whatever the winner's address is, saying, congratulations, you won, the name of the item, and then you have won the auction for KidCraft, item. It also tells, please pay $57.36, pick up for the end of the week. Thanks for participating, GetAGonga admin. Then you can also see for every item, it's unique. Tory Burch camera bag, the DeWalt Atomic 20-volt bandsaw, and the WiseCam 3D night vision. So that's the items you can get and how they get notified. Now we'll return to auction management, and I will demonstrate how to add an item to the fall special or any auction for that matter. Then go back to manage items. Okay, now we're back into the fall special, and we're going to add an item to that auction. Let's look up a Rolex watch. They do get these occasionally and actually auction them off. All right. And here we have a vintage Rolex. So that's just a book. Oh, here's the watch they have in stock. Let's be under fashion. Select this item. And then it's been added to the auction. So let's go back to auction management. Look at the fall special, manage items, and you can see it's been added in. Then we go back to the home page. As a user, look at the fall special, and there's the Rolex watch ready to be bid on. So once that's done and all the auction items are in, and the auction starts, then bids can be placed and tracked as shown earlier. Follow the window down, and once they're done with that, they just log out and it takes them back to the beginning. Now that you've seen the operation of the app, here's some of the improvements I plan to make. The user management section for the admin, so that they can go in there and either remove people or change their passwords for them, send them messages about not paying, that kind of thing. Be able to disallow bids that are less than the minimum bid. That way people aren't trying to bid less than what the minimum should be. Stop all bids after the auction end date. And then if someone won multiple items, say they bid on 5 different things and won 3 of them, they get a single email notification for all the items they've won with a grand total and it's like an invoice. I'd also like to hook up multiple APIs to search from. Sometimes the Google search is limited, so I'd like to include not only the Google search, but also one from Bing, Amazon, and Walmart. These are the biggest APIs for choosing pricing that they currently use when they're searching for items. So I thought that'd be a good plan to use those. Thanks for checking out my project. If you have any questions, you can contact me at GaryVarnum@outlook.com or my LinkedIn /n/Gary-Varnum. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about the application or help you with anything that you need help with as far as the MERN stack or any kind of web development. Thank you.